Wow, it's Wulzy. Welcome back to another Geometry Dash video. This is a follow-up to my Build Week series that you might have seen in the past week somehow, whether it be through my own videos, the level itself on the servers, which has almost 40,000 downloads, which is just nuts, or the Vibrant upload on his channel. I do have plans to bounce from this and make building videos, since it's pretty clear that you guys like them, but first I want to round off the series and go into this level once again with an open mind, giving my final thoughts and honest opinion on it, like an evaluation essentially. First of all, I would like to point out that I made this level in a totally different fashion to how I would normally make a level, because I thought it would be much better for a series if I added stuff in a round robin method instead of finishing a part and moving on. For this, I built the layout, effects, designs and decorations separately, as you saw in the videos, which resulted in the later areas of the level feeling a lot more rushed than the earlier parts, because every time I got round to decorating these parts, I'd already sifted through the other 5 parts before it, which made me quite burnt out. If we look at the actual decoration and designs in the last part without the blue filter above it, or the colour changes that spruce it up, you'll see that it's actually very ugly. Because I was having trouble making this background effect fit in, and this part seems quite loose and frail to me overall, because it doesn't have the same coverage with these ground spikes as the previous part, because of the big long structures and the non-linear gameplay. It just didn't let me use these spikes to cover up the dead spaces because you're moving up and down too much. I'm pretty sure you can tell that I'm not really a fan of the ending, and I think it takes away from the quality of the level overall. A redeeming factor in this part for me is the transition in and out, because I was able to spruce up the swampy colours with that big blue pulse on the transition, and the white circle above the player keeps the vision good as well. Speaking of transitions, I was never really a fan of the transition going into the ship in the very beginning. I wanted to add more to it, but I knew that if I did, the other transitions would also need more added to them. And I knew that that could lead me down a lane of some transitions being more climactic than others, which just isn't what I want because the song doesn't pick up at all, and there's no speed changes in the level to sort of reflect that. The first part of the level was the only part I'd really planned out in my mind in full, since I'd streamed a few weeks ago making a part with the same concept. However, I knew that I could make multiple effects with similar layering formats using the same colour scheme, so I made this colour scheme stick all the way through, which is something I don't really do very often in a level. This middle robot was intended to be a break from the colour scheme, as I tried to incorporate a lot more black and white to bring in this void idea that you see in this ball section right here with the text that says void. Everything goes to that blue shade. The void was supposed to suck all the colour away from the level, but I must admit this wasn't executed very well because the wave right after is way too colourful for this idea to be precedented, so it just seems a little bit out of place and takes away from the cohesion a lot. I also try to do something quirky at the same time using a lot of yellow that faded in and out, and the difference in saturation is honestly pretty ugly. I don't even know why I kept the level like this, but it's here. If I was to remake this part right now, I would add a lot more colour to make the experience a little more trippy, like the name suggests, and I feel as if this part has missed potential due to this. The structure types allowed for the most variation in the design, but then I instead masked the designs, so the part is really strange without much consideration for designs or making the part whole or in place. Also, I used a lot of white in the part before, which makes the drained colour in the robot section even less effective, as the difference isn't as exaggerated. Sure, doing this made the level flow a little bit better, but the original idea was stifled, and I just think that the whole part right here is just messy. I just realised that when I remade this part after deleting it by accident, I forgot to flip the top part of this white screen. I knew there was something missing about this part when I remade it, and it's because I didn't flip the top. I've just went and fixed that. I'll go and update it right now. The wave part is honestly my favourite part though. It was my first time experimenting with a coloured mask, and the switch from black to blue overall here was one of the best decisions I've ever made making a level, as it tied the level together a lot more, since the mask in the beginning made the cube and ship look blue too, and the colour scheme was just strengthened overall. I was kind of worried that the designs were too chunky here, and I wasn't really sure about these pulses initially, but I think they make up for the lack of movement, and the moving vortex in the background worked a lot better than I was expecting. It just makes this part a lot more interesting with the whole mask and the different colours within it. I'll also show a picture of my desktop background right now. This wave was actually designed and decorated with just random ideas, so I'm really surprised that it came out so strong, in fact being some people's favourite part of the level, including my own. This cube transition is weak, I'm not gonna lie. The only acceptable part about this is the rippling vortex I made by accident with a little bit of bounce easing when it moves back to the center. This is why I just tell people to experiment when they ask for building advice, because experimentation can honestly save the level. I should have followed Lev's advice in this UFO section, spicing up the circuit blocks a little bit somehow, because I do think they're a little bit boring, despite my excuses in the finale. The varied outlines don't treat the designs very well either, but I do like the color loops, which is something else I just randomly included. Here is something else that saved this level. As you can see, these color loops right here change the design constantly, which again makes up for the lack of movement here. Something I can take away from this level building experience is that I need to plan for movement a lot better, because a lot of this level is actually static and it just relies on the effects and the visuals to keep it alive, like the pulses and color changes and stuff. I need to re-verify this level with the new addition on the top with the flipped white glow, which means I'm going to go and have to get the coin at the top of the wave section, which received a bronze award from Viperin on his upload. Basically, this coin has nothing to it, but I just suck at getting it. There we go. I've already expressed my disgust with these last two parts. They're just bad. The opacity on this filter at the end just makes this part so lifeless. A common complaint with this level is the visibility, which I tried to tackle with the transitions towards the end with the circle method I mentioned earlier. I also showed the structure outlines on T3 above the sweeping screens that go in between the transitions. The beginning effect obscures the blocks quite a bit. Something I did consider doing was flipping the masks so the opposite sides are obscured, which would allow the gameplay to be read a lot easier. In fact, I'll show you one thing I tried to do. I tried to take this, copy paste it and flip it on the other side too, so that there was more than one part to the effect. Let me show you real quick. This is what I initially wanted to do with the beginning, which is just kind of ridiculous because it leaves a big dead zone on the left hand side of the screen where nothing is happening. But it looks pretty cool, right? I don't know. Maybe if this level was like a 4-star or something with really easily sight-readable gameplay, I might have tried that, but it's a 7-star, so I can't really do that. The gameplay got nerfed a small bit while I was talking to Zipix when we were playtesting. It's more 6-star than 7-star if we're talking about a pure layout, but when the effects are added, it becomes a 7-star for sure, because you have to react quite quickly, especially in areas like the ship section, because the visuals may catch you off guard. I don't rate this level very highly on my catalogue, perhaps because I've looked at it way too much in building, video editing, and reviewing it now. I did make a video explaining my thoughts on my other levels, and I'm hoping to bring out a video detailing my thoughts on Come Back to Earth soon. I don't know, there's just something about this level that I don't really like in comparison to levels like Come Back to Earth and Yob. This level could have definitely been longer, but I found it quite difficult to transition away from the final cube since the transition is very harsh. The overlay makes that part very dense, which isn't really something I can build another part right after around, because it would just feel out of place if I tried to replicate that again. I'd like to think it's an okay level. I mean, it does have its ups and downs. Some parts are very empty, but I do hope it has enough charm to keep it going. I hope it's refreshing as a pure effect level, because most effect levels nowadays are tied into modern style, and they all just kind of feel the same. So I kind of wanted to be bold with this and make a pure effect level with just lots of different out of the ordinary styles into one. I hope you enjoyed Build Week plus this little extra addition on the end as a review. I haven't really acknowledged the success of Build Week so far. Each episode has like 7,000 or 8,000 views by now. Day 1 definitely has well over 10,000. And I just want to say thank you for 6,000 subscribers. It's quite funny because I started Build Week with the 5,000 subscribers special in mind, and we got 1,000 subscribers within that week alone. So, thank you for watching this little review. Now that it's been exactly a week since release, I want to know what you think, so leave a like and a comment with your thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and like my own level. But yeah, I'm interested. Tell me what you think, and have a good day.